But if you're looking to start a family and you're looking to be serious, forget about it. I don't think that this is gonna work at all until the justice system changes, until the laws change. And so you can see there's multiple angles to this equation as to why that this is inevitable. As it stands, unless the laws change, this is inevitable. Because you've got a multitude of reasons why this will be adopted from all different tiers of men. The upper tier men are already not committing and haven't for a while, and the bottom tier men just gave up. And in the technology, when you have a humanoid that's indistinguishable from reality, can't steal half your stuff, isn't gonna give you a hard time, why wouldn't you do that? It makes perfect sense. And the really sad part about it is there would be a potential for this situation to kind of rectify itself if women would come at this and address the issue with understanding and compassion towards how men are getting treated. We might be able to start working towards a solution, but they're largely not. They're just slapping, oh, they're a bunch of incel losers, and then not mentioning how screwed up the dating market is, and how screwed up the laws are, and how risky it is for men to get married and start a family these days. They don't address that because it benefits them, and they don't actually give a shit about men. Most of them, some of them do. Don't get me wrong. There's some good ones out there, but the vast majority don't give a single shit about men. And that goes right back to what I was saying before: is guys realize this, and that's why a lot of them are walking away. The top tier guys not committing, and the bottom tier guys not even trying. And we kind of all agree that, yeah, the situation's messed up, and they don't seem to give a shit about us. I mean, how many times have we heard that? Well, I don't need no man mantra. It's like, okay, you don't need us. That's fine. We can go our own way. A lot of us have, and this is part of that going men going their own way. It's what I refer to as the Great Divorce, right? It's just men and women are like there's this great divorce happening where they're just walking away from each other. And it started with feminism. They rejected their traditional roles long ago, and men held on to it for quite a while. Maybe hoping that they would come back to the table and we could figure out something new, something that worked for us, and they didn't. They just increasingly got more hostile. And so, now we're starting to see the counter to that equation. Because men don't want to fulfill the roles anymore because they're not getting much from it. And think about it this way: when it comes down to the masculine role, we created society for women and children, for family, right? And that involves protecting and providing. And with protection, what that really means is dying in a war potentially. This we have to offer something that's worth dying for and worth working ourselves to the bone for. And that's something that the young men dream about. And we want to sacrifice, we want to provide and protect, at least, we used to. I remember, I grew up wanting to do that, and now I kind of look back and I'm like, well, that seems very silly. Why would you die for a society that doesn't offer you really much of anything? It doesn't appreciate you. You don't have any freedom. You don't have any authority within your own family. Like, well, why are you going to sacrifice yourself for that? Because our participation in this is kind of optional for us, right? Because you could have a group of guys living in the woods, totally self-sustainable and doing just fine. We don't need society. Society needs men to sacrifice and to bloodlet on the altar of society. Right? Society runs on the blood, sweat, and tears of men sacrificing themselves for their family. That's what it's always been about. You look at wars throughout history, and oftentimes you'll see, oh well, it's the country and this. And I'm sure national fervor has its place, But realistically, most men are fighting wars for their family. And you can see this because they give their rifle a woman's name. They'll slap lipstick on their bombs. They'll name their aircraft after a woman. She's a beaut. They almost always have a picture of their wife or their mother on them, and they'll use that for courage and strength. That's why they're fighting. That's the real reason why they're sacrificing. And we've completely knocked out that foundation. And that's why you're seeing less recruitment numbers in the military. That's why a lot of police are quitting. That's why you're seeing it's all across the world. In China, you have let it rot. In the U.S., you have quiet quitting and MGTOW. This is a big thing in Japan too, because you've knocked out that peg. You've knocked out that support, and the support was the care and the love and the appreciation that women would give to men to inspire them to sacrifice. And once you remove that, that's it. They don't have the motivation to do it anymore because they were sacrificing for their family in the first place. And I think this is partially by design, and that's kind of a different subject. But if you want to destroy the fighting spirit of a nation, yeah, just turn the women against the men, and then the men won't want to fight for it anymore. And you saw this at the fall of the Roman Empire too. They had a hard time recruiting legionaries because they didn't want to do it. They had to recruit from the countryside where it was more rural and there was more tradition because it had eroded in the cities. You had this same cycle of like feminism.